Hello guys and welcome to today's video. Today we're doing another full flight video, so the one you saw with the Brussels Airlines, it will be something very similar. But this is the first video from a new series I wanted to start for a long time, and it's called Going Retro. So in this series we will basically take an airplane which doesn't fly anymore in real life, or airline that isn't flying in real life anymore, and we will fly these retro liveries, let's say, on their respective routes that they used to fly back days. I thought it would be good to start with Monarch Airlines, and we are here at London Luton Airport, and we are flying to Ibiza. So this is like the very typical holiday destination for the British people. So I think this flight is very good to start with, and we are flying with Boeing 737-300, so the classic one. The add-on is from Captain Sim. It's not that old, so it has some bugs still, but it is flyable. It is good. I like it, so we will go for this one. And the registration is Golf Mike Oscar November Golf. So this aircraft used to fly. It's a real life airplane, real registration. It looked exactly like this. So it will be very interesting. I'm looking forward to this flight, so let's hop right into it. Alright, so I'm tuning in from the flight deck. It looks pretty retro, not gonna lie. I don't know why this is set to RTO, but let's start with the overhead panel again, and the battery is already on, so we can leave that on, and we need to enable the external power or ground power, which I connected earlier already. So we just click this button, and we have now juice running into the aircraft, so that is good. I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to start my ActiveSky, so 2 seconds. Alright, so as you can see, the weather is now updated, and it's yeah, typical weather in the UK, let's say. Pretty cloudy, almost raining, but yeah. Let's hop onto our overhead panel again, and we have the strobes on for some reason, so we don't want that. We want that to be steady only, to turn on our navigation lights, and the logo lights can go on as well. We need to reset our IRSs, so we put them to off. And once the align light comes off, we can turn them back to nav. We can turn the service interphone on. We can turn on the window heat, and we don't need the probe heats just now. We can set the packs to auto, isolation valve to auto as well, and that's pretty much it here. This is okay. Okay, the lights are now gone, so we can turn this back to nav. Now we need to wait a bit, and now we can turn on the yaw damper as well. Alright, everything looks just fine right here. I'm just going to quickly create an OFP for our flight. We can turn on the no smoking and seatbelt signs as well, and flip these switches to ground power. Now we can go to our FMC and load the weights and the fuel. So we go to options, we go to fuel and payload, and our block fuel today, yeah, you have to input it like this, so it's in our case it's 9.6. Now it should work. Yeah, there we go. So here we have the fuel, full left and right tanks, and the center just around 500 kilos. So that's fine. The payload today, 10.6 tons, so it's 63%. So that's alright. Alright, and when this is done, we can now go back here and go into our left FMC where I like to set the routing and position stuff. So we can hop into position initialize here. I will just go a bit closer, right this, like this, and we're flying from London Luton Airport, which is Echo Golf Golf Whiskey. So we put that there. Alright, so now we need to set the RS position. I already done that, but you can do it by just copying the GPS location, or the FMC GPS location, and just pasting it right here. That's what it does, and now the aircraft knows where we are. So that's good. The origin airport is London Luton. We have it here already. And destination is Lima Echo India Bravo Ibiza, so we put that in. And now the actual flight plan. So let me just scroll down for the route. I have it prepared right here. So the first waypoint, or the first VOR, is CPT, or Charlie Papa Tango, so we put that in. And then we're going from CPT to BCN via Uniform November 859er, like this. So now BCN, next page, and then we're going to Korda via Uniform Zulu 174, and that's to Korda. So Korda it is. There we go. And that's our route done. It's not that long really for this flight. So let's press activate and execute. And we can go to performance in it. Okay, so we cannot do it like this. So we have to go back into our options and payload. Okay, so the zero fuel weight is 42.1. So we can put that in. As you can see, the the gross weight / center gravity, it fills in automatically. We can just double check that the values are correct. So that's done. Then reserves 1 and cost index. SimBrief actually told me to go for cost index 80, but I find that really strange. So we will go for 30. And our cruising altitude 350. We can now go to takeoff. And before actually we fill the takeoff, we need to select our departure. So we're departing from runway 25 today. So we need to select that. And the SID, the departure, is CPT. And is the 4 Bravo one, because any other is not here, so it's that one. It looks like this, so we're going to execute, and we can now check if the route is pre-programmed well, so let's check that. Okay, so apart from the next generation Boeing 737, where you have the mode selector and the range right here, like next to the altimeter, it's actually down here in the classic one. So we can switch this to plan mode and go to 20, because that's enough, I think. And let's go to legs, and you just press next page, and you can go through the route like this. We need to zoom out a little bit to see if it is okay, and as you can see, it is good. We have one discontinuity right here, so we just grabbed Vapid and place it there, so you can see the route is now connected, so that's good. And we go down, heading south towards Ibiza. The route looks very good, so we can leave that as it is. Okay, now we can switch the mode back to map and zoom in a bit. You can also zoom in on the map by just scrolling your mouse wheel on the map, just to, yeah, Captain Sim made this to make things easier for pilots, because yeah, it's pretty annoying to go all the time with your mouse down there and change the range. So just to clear this up. And since our route is pre-programmed, we can go over to our takeoff reference. So we are doing flaps 5 for today's takeoff. Alright, so now we need to set the flex temperature and the outside temperature. So the temperature at Luton is 19 degrees Celsius or 66 degrees Fahrenheit. The flex temperature is 55, and we put slash and we input the outside temperature, which is 19. So that's that. We have the V speeds calculated here, so we just input them there. And as you can see, we now need to set the V2 to our MCP panel. So that's 1 for 2 V2, and we can set the altitude to our cruising altitude, since we're not flying online today. So we can go all the way up to flight level 350. And let me just quickly check what's the heading of the runway. Okay, so the heading of runway 25 is 255 degrees. So we will set that to the course right here, to the heading as well. If anything goes wrong, then we can just switch the autopilot to heading, select, and the autopilot will just fly straight on and not make any sudden turns. And the right one as well. So that's selected. We can go on and turn the flight directors on, VNAV, LNAV, and also arm the auto throttle. When this is done, we can set the auto brakes to RTO. We can set the altimeters. It's 1001. You can set it with this button. Alright, since the APU is now running, we can switch the power supply by clicking these two, and we don't need ground power anymore, so we can switch this to APU gen. We can turn on the anti-collision lights as well. We can go down here and press this little shortcut, Shift +2, and we can disconnect the external power. And since our parking brake is set as well, we can then put the wheel chocks away. So you can see the aircraft is now cleared. So we can go on and call the pushback truck. So we prepare for pushback and departure, and we will select this. Now we just wait for the tow truck guy to lock our front gear. Okay, and we want the nose left, tail right pushback.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Parking brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, we can go down here and turn the TCAS on. And we can go over to our overhead panel. We can turn off pack, LPAC and right pack. And we can start our engines. So to start the engines on the 737 Boeing, we need to switch the engine start switches to ground. And as you can see, the engine is now spooling up, and we can flip the cutoff lever to the start or idle position, and as you can see, the engine is now up and running. When the engine is stabilized, this switch will come back to the off position, as you can see, and we can go and start the other one as well. Wait for it to spool up a bit.
Set parking brakes.
And then flip the lever up. There we go. Set parking brakes, yes.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
I think we can confirm that already. There we go. Both the switches are now to the off position, so we need to put them into continuous. Okay, and we can now turn the engine power supply on, so the right one and the left one, and we can now turn off the APU. We can turn off the APU bleed, turn on these two guys on, the left pack and the right pack coming on as well.
Left is clear, right is clear.
And since the tow truck is now away as well, we can go on and turn on our taxi lights, runway turn-off lights, wing lights. We can set flaps to 5. So that's 3 clicks in the 737. As you can see, the flaps are now extended, so we can hop back inside and we can start taxiing. So we will release the parking brake, and off to runway 25 we go. Okay, so we need to turn right here and go past the terminal. We don't want to taxi faster than 10 knots in these sharp turns. Alright, since we are entering the runway now, we need to turn on our strobe lights. So they are on now. And we need to make this right turn and then go onto the runway. Just check if there is no one on the runway. Yeah, it looks good. We will just make a quick turn here. Just go like this and then flip it round. Bit of power as well to not stop moving. Just about got it there. And we are lined up. As you can see on the scenery, it says runway 26, but we can live with it. Okay, so now we need to turn on our landing lights. So turn these on, and we also want to turn on our clock like this to the run position, so that's set. And we want to come back down here and turn on the weather radar. And yeah, let's start. So we will just simply push the throttle to our flex temperature, which is 90. So we will have to monitor that, and when we hit V1, then rotate will rotate, and then we will try to maintain the speed and also the flight directors. So let's go. So let's go to around 50%, and the engines are stabilized, so we can go on and add some more power. We go something like that, 92, I think that's alright. So the airspeed is alive. I can feel a bit of a crosswind, so 80 knots, that's checked. I have to correct it with the rudder, but nothing too serious. Here, and we have V1 and rotate. So we rotate the airplane. There we go. Positive rate of climb, and gear is coming up. And we need to follow the flight directors, so we need to make this left turn here. And another right turn. It's a pretty interesting departure, but I think I'm doing a good job by following it. And now we need to maintain 250 knots. Can now turn on the autopilot. Yeah, that's the reminder of the fuel, because we just are running out of fuel in the center fuel tank, but that's alright. We will just empty it completely, and then we will turn on the fuel, turn off, sorry, the fuel pumps in the center one. We are at 5,000 feet. We have to hold this altitude for some time because of the departure restrictions. We can quickly check that in the legs page, and as you can see, we need to hold 5,000 feet until the waypoint CPT, which is the final waypoint of our SID actually. So that's 18 nautical miles away. We can put the auto brake back to off position since we have some time now, and also the landing gear to the off position. There we go. We can just quickly check the map. So if we zoom out a bit, there you can see CPT. So until this waypoint we will need to, or the autopilot will hold altitude of 5,000 feet, and then it will start climbing again. Here you can see that at Vapid we should already be accelerating, and at flight level 160. So that's that, and I will talk to you when we hit CPT, and we will see what happens there. What we can also do until we hit CPT, we can turn off our retractable landing lights, and we can turn off the center fuel tank by clicking these two fuel pumps. You can see the CTR center, so we just turn these two off. We can also switch the taxi light off. Right, so we are just about to hit CPT now. So the aircraft will now start the left turn, starting it right now, and also climbing like crazy, because now we're finally good to go to climb to higher altitude than 5,000 feet. As you can see, the altitude just building up very, very fast. We can set the altimeter back to the standard, so that's 1013. There we go. And also the alternate one. So yeah, so we can then join our cruising altitude at the correct altitude, basically. Yeah, so that's that. Flight time is now 11 minutes, so we were stuck at 5,000 feet for quite some time, but now we're finally climbing. You can see that before takeoff we had RTO. Here now it's a climb, so that's like the mode of the engines, let's say. I don't know really how to call it correctly, but I think that's pretty much it. So here it changes what kind of phase of flight we're in at the moment. And since we're approaching 10,000 feet, we can hop over to our overhead panel and we can turn off our external lights, switch the engine start switches back to off, turn off logo lights, turn off wing lights, and we can also set the seatbelt signs to the off position. Alright, I will talk to you when we hit our cruising altitude of 5,000 feet. Okay guys, so we have just reached flight level 350, and this will be the altitude we will be heading at to Ibiza, and I will tune in when we are ready to descend. See you there. Hello guys, greetings from our beautiful Boeing 737-300, and we need to set up our arrival. So we need to go into the departure arrival, go to arrival, and active runway in Ibiza is ILS, so we're going to select ILS 06 Zulu, and the last waypoint of today's route is Korda. And we have the Korda 3 Victor, arrival, or star. So we are going to select that and press execute. And now, again, we need to check if it is pre-programmed correctly. So we will switch the mode to plan. And now if we navigate ourselves to the airport, we can see that it actually is pre-programmed correctly. So we just need to go here and clear all these discontinuities. So place this there, press execute, and that's this done. We can now switch the mode back to map, so we see what's in front of us. Top of descent is right there, just about 80 nautical miles away from us, and we can also go ahead and select our VRF speed, or the landing speed. So that will be, let's do flaps 40. So flaps 40, and it will be 1 to 6 knots, but +5 maybe because of the wind. Let's check the winds in Ibiza. We're not flying to Menorca, but to Ibiza. I was checking Menorca just a few seconds ago, so that's why I I have this island in my mind, at the top of my head. Yeah, it's 10 knots and up to 15, so let's do 131 knots at 40 flaps. So we have the ILS frequency set here, it's set to manual, so manual, these two right here. You can see that this changed to cruise now from climb and from takeoff, and we need to set our altitude, which we want to descend to for our ILS approach for runway 06, and we should join the ILS at 2,000 feet, so let's set that. It's not like in the Airbus, so Boeing, whenever he crosses the top of descent, the plane will start descending automatically and following the descent path, which is pretty cool. So we have this set up. We can also leave the decision height at 200. What we also need to set is the course, which is 061 for 06. We will set the heading to it as well. And then the right course as well. Oops, there we go. like this. Alright guys, so we just started descending towards Ibiza. As you can see, we are just slightly below our descent profile right here, so the plane will level off for just a few seconds and then start descending again. Okay guys, so we are just passing 20,000 feet. We can slowly set the QNH, which is 1014 in Ibiza, so that is set. Our flight time is now 2 hours and 18 minutes, so pretty much as expected really for this flight. We're diving into the clouds, as you can see. We will be joining the arrival just in a moment. The first part we will fly away from the airport, and then we will make 180 turn right here. Somewhere here at this waypoint we should join the ILS. We should be at 3,000 feet right here at Osnook, and then we will descend on the glide slope down towards the runway. I've just turned on the fasten seatbelt signs as well, so that's sorted. Okay, and we are passing 10,000 feet, so we can turn on landing lights, also the runway turn-off lights. Engine start switches to continuous, logo and wing lights are coming on as well. And we will now perform the left-hand turn, and we will be in the runway heading after this turn. Let's just check the VREF speed, and it has come down, so it's now 124 plus 5 because of the wind. So 129er with flaps 40. That's our approach and landing speed. And we are making the turn right now. I can zoom in a bit on the map so you can see what's going on. We are sitting perfectly on the vertical path and also with the speed, so that's great. I think we will not, we won't need the speed brakes, so we can arm them. So place them into the armed position, and here it says speed brake armed, so that's great. Now you can see just passing altitude of 7,000 feet, and we're making this turn right here. We will pass this waypoint, and then onto Demef we will go. Alright, so as you can see, we have now the approach mode selected, and we can go ahead and set flaps 5 and flaps 10 as well. Alright, so we have used the autopilot to guide us to the airport. I have disconnected the autopilot, as you can see, and the auto throttle as well. We are sitting here nicely, just with 3 reds here. The landing gear is deployed, the flaps as well, speed brakes armed, so we are good to go. I'm just flying it visually here, that is checked. Now we have 2 reds, 2 whites, so we're right on the money. Right where we want to be. Continue, touchdown zone and landing. just too fast here. I'm gonna cut the throttles.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And retard the thrust levers. Give it a little bit of flare, there we go. And reversers coming out and speed brakes are up. And we have 60 knots and manual braking, so the reversers are coming in. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ibiza. And we can also turn on our taxi lights, turn off the landing lights, engine start switches, and also the strobe lights. Oops. What we can do next is to unclick the weather radar, turn the TCAS to the correct position, and we are here at Ibiza Airport, so we will just turn ourselves onto the apron here. And obviously the speed brake coming down there, as well as the flaps coming in. And we will turn right here, left, obviously, to get ourselves to the terminal. We can see Vueling and Ryanair planes at the terminal right here. Once again, welcome to Ibiza. It was a nice flight. I enjoyed it. There were some issues as usual with the Captain Sim, but yeah, it is what it is. At least you see what you're getting. But yeah, it is a good plane. It's still a very fresh add-on, so I don't mind it. And we can use this parking spot or stand, which is stand 28, so we can turn off the taxi lights, the wing lights as well. We can turn onto the parking stand right here. We need to keep some power going on as well. There we go. And make this right turn. We have this thing working, looks like. Yeah, we need to go to the left like this. And now forward until it says stop. And like this. We are here, we can set the parking brakes. We can change this, we can turn off the TCAS, and we can connect the ground power, which is like this. We can go straight to the ground power and turn off engine number 2 and engine number 1. Turn off the anti-collision light so the ground crew can start working on the plane. We can also turn off the fasten seatbelt signs like this and set the IRSs to off position, probe heat off, as well as the fuel pumps and hydraulics. Alright, so we are here in our 737 Classic. We can connect the jetway. And yeah, welcome to Ibiza. I hope you enjoyed this flight. It was a nice flight, nice 2.5 hour flight. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about this retro or going retro series. I find it very interesting, so I will make more of these, and maybe then you will see if you like the series or not, if you see like more of these. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.